Yes, children, welcome back. In the previous class, we completed the third page of the lesson. Up to Ravi looked puzzled. It did not seem simple. Then Ravi, you are absolutely right, the teacher said, as if she understood the feelings of Ravi. Ravi, you are absolutely right. There is no doubt. It is not an easy thing. First, you count the threads, measure the distance, calculate when to repeat a pattern. Only then you can tie the knots. So, very typical, you see. First, you count the threads, then measure the distance, then calculate when to repeat the pattern. Now, how much distance must be there in the pattern? This, when to tie the knots, then you can understand. When to repeat a pattern, when you know that, then you can tie the knots there. Teacher, it seems like difficult maths, Ramya said. Madam, it appears like very difficult maths. How exactly the design comes there with exact design on the fabrics with equal intervals. It's really wonderful. Correct. Weavers may not be formally educated but have complex calculations at their fingertips. Children, you are correct, you are right. It really is a difficult mathematics only. Weavers who weave these kind of clothes may not be formally educated or may not be highly educated, but they have complex calculations at their fingertips. But they can make calculations very fast, much faster than we people, you people, even though they are not formally educated, because they have got that experience there. And people say experience is the mother of knowledge. They draw patterns on the graphs and copy them on the threads. First they draw the patterns or designs on the graph sheet and then copy them on the threads. Janaki continued, just close your eyes and imagine. Children, now just you close your eyes, all of you, and imagine. What is that? Threads stretched out long with dots of different colors shining. You imagine, what do you imagine there? Threads stretched out long with dots of different colors shining there. I have seen such a sight in villages of Nalgonda. The teacher was saying there, I have seen such a sight in villages of Nalgonda. When I happened to pass through these villages of Nalgonda, I saw this kind of threads stretched along with colorful dots shining brightly there in the sunlight. Someone said, teacher, the dots are like raindrops, chukka. This is how the name Chitiki Rumal. Someone said, madam, what you said, the dots that are kept there along the threads to make a design, they are just like raindrops. Means chukka, varshap chukkal antam kada. So that is how the name Chitiki Rumal might come into existence. This was the favorite headgear of fishermen and other laborers. It was also the towel on the shoulders of traders in Gujarat. So this particular Chitiki Rumal was the favorite headgear. Headgear means what? People generally in Gujarat and fishermen. Fishermen generally wear a headgear on their heads, you might have seen. Like it looks like a cap, which dots design there. This was the favorite headgear of fishermen and other laborers. And also it was the towel on the shoulders of traders in Gujarat. Gujarat, in generally, when you go to Gujarat, you find traders or business people having a towel on their shoulders. Always. That is what is called, this fabric only they use, this Chitiki Rumal. She suddenly thought of another explanation. And again, she wanted to make children very much clear about what she wanted to explain. Suddenly, she got an idea about another explanation for this. She asked, children, when you have to measure a small quantity of material, you use a specific word in Telugu. Children, you remember, when you have to measure a small quantity of a material, You use a specific word in Telugu. Do you remember what is that word? This time Ramya answered promptly. Means immediately Ramya answered, chitikedu. Oh, chitikedu uppayamma antam. Chitikedu means this much. And before she completed, comprehension was written large on every child's face. Before she completed the explanation, there was comprehension, means complete understanding could be seen there on each and every child's face. Was writ large on everybody's face means what? Was clearly seen there on everybody's face, that understanding now came to each and every child there in the classroom. Teacher, chitiki means small and small dots of color which are characteristics of ikat. They chorused. They started shouting now, saying it in a loud voice. Together they started saying, Madam, we understand. Chitiki means small and small dots of color which are characteristics of ikat. That is why they became so famous as ikat. The class was jubilant. Now the class was very much happy. Entire class was enjoying the period, the subject, the topic there. They were very enthusiastic, jubilant, happy. They were able to come up with an original explanation for a historical phrase. Why they were so happy? Why the class was so jubilant? Because they were able to come up with an original explanation for a historical phrase. What is that historical phrase? Ikat, chitikedu. And now they were able to come with a small original explanation. That chitikedu are small quantities known as chitikedu. That is exactly what the kind of design that we see there on ikat fabrics. When trade was vigorous with other nations in Southeast Asia, tie and dye or chitiki as lengths of fabric was a favorite export item both in silk and cotton. Actually, dear children, when trade was vigorous means active. When there was active business with other nations in Southeast Asia, Southeast Asian countries, I think you might have known in the social studies, you might have come across them. The nations of Southeast Asia, and India is a member of Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN. Tie and dye or chitiki as lengths of fabric was a favorite export item both in silk and cotton. It was a favorite export item. Export means what? Sending to other countries towards business and earning money, foreign income, foreign exchange. Both in silk and cotton, she said. There are other interesting stories on ikats. Dear children, there are other interesting stories on ikat. Different regions fight about its origin. Different regions of the country, of the world, fight over the origin of this word. Did it travel from Gujarat to the south or vice versa? Vice versa means in the reverse order. Actually, did this particular making of fabrics travel from Gujarat to the southern part of the country? Gujarat is western part of the country. Did it travel from Gujarat to southern part means our state is southern part of the country only. So that's the reason why she was explaining there was no clear explanation or historical evidence to show that this particular word originated from a particular region. Did it travel from Gujarat to the south or vice versa? Or did it travel from the south to Gujarat? Vice versa means in the reverse order. First he said Gujarat to the south. Vice versa means south to the Gujarat. Did it first originate in the coastal belt of Andhra Pradesh and travel to Nalgonda? We don't know. Did it first originate in the coastal belt, coastal region of Andhra Pradesh, then travel to Nalgonda in Telangana? There is no systematic historical documentation to resolve this dispute. The class was fully attentive now. So, my dear children, but even though there are several theories about this, there is no systematical historical documentation. Means historical documentary proof regarding the origin of this word is still not known. It is still in dispute. It's not yet clear. To resolve this dispute, to resolve this particular quarrel, about the origin of this word, there is no clear historical documentation. Now the class became fully attentive. The class started attentively listening to the teacher. For Raksha Bandhan, Rakhi festival it is known as Raksha Bandhan. The tying of the knot was done by yellow and red ikat dyed threads. You might have seen children, red and yellow tied threads. On Rakhi festival, people tie, the sisters tie the Rakhis there on their brothers' wrists. So, you children, you know that Raksha Bandhan tying of the knot was done by yellow and red ikat dyed threads. In our tradition, tying the knot is sacred. Generally during the marriage also, the bridegroom ties 3 knots around the bride's neck. So, in our tradition, tying the knot is very sacred, very powerful, very holy. Maybe this has a relation to tying and dyeing process also. Maybe this has a relation to tying and dyeing. Dyeing means what? Coloring. D-Y-E-I-N-G. But in parts of Gujarat, Maharashtra and Deccan, designs in ikat were very much influenced by Muslim culture. But if you children, in some parts of Gujarat and Maharashtra and Deccan, if you see, the ikat designs were very much influenced by Muslim culture. Why? Because most of those areas, Muslim population is more. So, ikat designs in those areas generally were influenced by Muslim culture. The bell was ringing, but the class was lost in a period where vibrant colors and compelling stories were woven into beautiful fabrics. The bell was ringing, but the total class was immersed. Was lost means what? It was so much involved or immersed in a period, what kind of a period? Where vibrant colors and compelling stories, extremely interesting stories, vibrant colors, very attractive colors and vibrant, compelling, extremely interesting stories were woven together into beautiful fabrics. Because the teacher was explaining the story behind ikat, at the same time she was showing the fabrics which were designed there and the method of ikat. All these together, even though the bell was ringing, the class was so much immersed in the period where vibrant colors and extremely interesting stories were woven together into beautiful fabrics. See children, how wonderfully this is explained to us by Dr. B. Shyamasundari. The lesson is completed with that, and we have to go to the comprehension part now. Answer the following questions. There are 5 questions given there in that. What is the main theme of the story? The main theme of the story is written there, textiles of India, ikat of Andhra Pradesh. That's the main theme or central idea. How was Chitiki Rumal used by different people? Chitiki Rumal was used as a headgear by fishermen and other laborers, and it was also used as a towel on the shoulders of traders of Gujarat. In this way, Chitiki Rumal was used. Question number 3. The teacher became silent when she was discussing handloom. Why? She became pensive. She became silent, serious when she was discussing handloom. Why is it like that? Because she felt sorry that in the race with the machine, we are forgetting our culture, rich cultural heritage. That is why the teacher became silent when she was discussing handlooms. Now, handlooms are not there, more are there machine looms, the looms which run on machines. Question number 4. Children's attention was divided between her words and the fabrics as she opened a silk patola sari. Why? Because that was a wonderful design there on the silk patola sari. It had a red design and a black background with rows of flowers in the border. The simple leaf design repeated across the body and the flowers in the border created a mesmerizing effect. That's the reason why the children's attention was divided between her words and the fabrics as she opened a silk patola sari. The last question number 5. The writer described some designs, historical things and the weaving. Which part of the story do you like most? This is your question, children. You open-ended question. Do you like this part? Which part of the story do you like? Do you like the part of the story in which she described designs, or the part of the story where historical things are explained by the teacher, or the part of the story which is explained, story which involved weaving as explained by the teacher? Which part of the story do you like most? You have to write with your own ideas. Okay, children, now an interesting exercise there, vocabulary part. Vocabulary. In the vocabulary part, children, the first Roman number, read the following sentences. There are two sentences given there, some sentence C. VVS Lakshman is a top class batsman. Shruti is in class 8. Does the word class in both the sentences mean the same? Children, does this word class, top class batsman, Shruti is in class 8. Does the word class, which is underlined there in both the sentences, give the same meaning? Do they mean same? No. We have 10 minutes left for the show. 10 minutes indicates time here. The minutes of every official meeting remains an important document. What do you mean by minutes of meeting? Suppose a meeting is conducted at any place, in any office or school. One particular person is assigned to note down the important points of discussion in a notes, in a book. That is called a minutes book. And those important points are noted by the person who is in charge of that. Those important items are known as minutes. So, see the difference there? That means the pronunciation is same, the spelling is same, but their meanings are different. Such words are called homonyms. You can look at that. The words underlined in the above sentences have the same spelling, but they differ in meaning. These words are called homonyms. Not only same spelling, but also same pronunciation. But they differ in their meanings. Top class batsman means very class batsman. That means a very excellent batsman. Class 8 means what? You are referring to the particular standard in which you are studying. In the same way, minutes means we have 10 minutes to complete the period. Their time, it indicates time. Have you mentioned have you got the minutes book? Or have you written the minutes of meeting? Have you written the minutes of the meeting? Their minutes does not indicate time. So, the words which are underlined there, having the same spelling and same pronunciation, but different meaning, they are called homonyms. Now, he is asking us, find the meaning of the following homonyms with the help of a dictionary. So, we are discussing that only 3 pairs are given there, FAIR, fair. When it is used as adjective, what does it mean? Janaki teacher was fair to everybody. Means what? She was unbiased. She was a fair lady. Means she was a beautiful lady. When a fair is used as a noun, what does it mean? There is a fair conducted on every Sunday in our village. Telugu, it is called Santa, market. Village market is known as a fair. F-A-I-R, when it is taken as a noun. When it is as an adjective, we say fair means beautiful, good looking, attractive. See the difference there. Mind, noun. He doesn't have mind to think carefully. It is a noun. When you use it as a mind, do you mind if I take your pen for some time? Do you mind means what? Do you object? That is what is called mind when it is used as verb. But the pronunciation, spelling, both are one and the same. Quiet, adjective, quiet, noun. Quiet means what? A silence. Quiet is adjective, be silent. So, the same word, same spelling, same pronunciation, but used as different parts of speech and different meanings. So, use these above homonyms in your own sentences. He is asking us to write. Fair. You can see the sentences like this, you have to write there using these in homonyms in your own sentences. When fair is as adjective, we write like Chanaki was a fair lady. There, fair is adjective. When it is used as a noun, how to write that in the form of a sentence? I bought 2 cows in the village fair, village market, Santa. Mind. Do you have any mind at all? Means do you have any sense at all like that? When it is used as a noun. When it is used as a verb, do you mind if I turn off the fan? I am feeling very cold. Do you mind? Means do you have any objection if I turn off the fan? Like that. So, for every such like exercise, such kind of pair of words of homonyms can be used in their own sentences. Now let us go to another which appears to be the same but is completely different, that is homophones. Read the following sentences carefully. The students have some knowledge about ikat. SOM is some. This sum from chapter 3 is very tough. The words underlined in the above sentences have the same pronunciation but different in spelling and meaning. Such words are called homophones. You understand? Now, let us see the difference between homonyms and homophones. Children, just before I gave you the definition of homonyms, they are the words having the same spelling, same pronunciation, but different meanings. Whereas homophones are the words having the same pronunciation, but different spellings and different meanings. Their spelling and pronunciation are same in homonyms, but meaning is different. But here, spellings and meanings are different, but the pronunciation is same. For example, look at these sentences. The students have some knowledge about ikat. I put that word some in the box there, SOME. What do you mean by that some there? A little. Whereas this, you see, this sum from chapter 3 is very tough. What is the spelling of sum here? SUM, sum. Sum means a problem in a mathematics, in a chapter. Any solution that you have to find, a problem will be given there, that is what is called a sum. See the difference between pronunciation is same. Look at this, pronunciation is same, but spellings and meanings are different. Such words are called homophones. You understand? Now read the following passage carefully and replace the underlined words with correct homophones. Okay children, let us do this. One day Janaki teacher said to the class, we all know. Which know you have tried? NO or KNOW know we have tried there. So carefully listen to this. We all, it is given no, underlined there. What you write there, you should write no. This is correct what? Correct homophone you have to write. No, KNOW. Okay. The boy in the blue dress. Which blue dress? We have tried BLUE, blue. In the blue dress, has won the best student, has won. Which should be written there? WON, 1 should be there. What is given there? 1 is, ONE 1 is given, but you have to write 1. This is correct. Has won the best student prize. Price is given. Price means value of something, but you have to write prize there. See, look at that, prize. She added, this is the right hour to felicitate him. WRIT, right, is different, but we have tried right, RIGHT here. What is the meaning of right here? Correct. This is the correct hour, appropriate hour to felicitate him. Here is the gift for the boy, but can anyone help me to untie the knot? Which knot is to be written there? KNOT knot. Knot of the dyed ribbon. Dyed means chanipoyindani, but you have tried DYED here. Dyed ribbon means colored ribbon. Dyed means DYED, dyed means colored. Colored ribbon. One boy came forward and helped her. There was a wonderful gift inside the box. Like this, we have to write, replace the underlined words with correct homophones. Children, in the grammar part, we have got direct indirect speech, which we have already discussed in the previous classes. We sent the videos also. So go through that those videos, and there is a report, a conversation given there, and you are asked to write there in that particular conversation in the form of a paragraph in a reported speech. Ramya visits a weaver at Pochampalli. She asks him a few questions. Ramya, uncle, what are you doing? Then how do you write that sentence? How do you convert a conversation into reported speech? That's what we are going to learn now. Converting a conversation into reported speech, grammar part. Ramya asked the weaver. Look at how it is written there, the conversation, how it is reported, you can see. Ramya asked the weaver what he was doing. I think you remember, if you go through the videos again, you can understand how to write the different kinds of things in reported speech. The weaver replied, that he was making a sari. And inquired her whether she liked it. Ramya responded saying she liked it, and asked him what its price was. What is its price? It is asked there. Weaver said 500 rupees. Do you want to buy it? Like that, you can continue writing the conversation in the form of a paragraph into reported speech, or reporting the conversation in this way. You can write like that, provided you learn the topic thoroughly. In the next page, you can see, look at the following possible changes while reporting. Present tense changes, present simple changes to past simple, present continuous changes to past continuous, present perfect changes to past perfect. Like that, past tense forms change, simple past changes to past perfect, past continuous changes into past perfect continuous in reported speech, past perfect remains as past perfect in reported speech. Whereas modal verbs also change like this, from direct speech to indirect speech. Can changes to could, may changes to might, will changes to would, must changes into had to. And the pronouns also change like this. I becomes either she or he. It all depends on the speaker. We becomes they. You may become I or she or he or they or we. So, with that we come to the end of the lesson. Children, in the next class we will be discussing Be reading the earthen goblet. Thank you.